One pick definitely is sort of more difficult to understand logistics locations. I mean, your logistics market is probably overbought, but if you're a specialist, you can access a lot of local markets where sort of broad players don't know what to do with, and I think there's good value there. And probably the other sector is probably convenience retail, so the good old retail parks. If you look at the returns on that and the yields on that, in especially all these smaller towns you just mentioned, they're quite a good proposition in terms of return and risk compared to big offices in the big cities.
Okay, good. Michael?
Well, I'll have to go for sort of secondary cities and offices because we've got an investment strategy there with co-investment capital in it. The last two pieces of business done in Germany actually get. There's still an awful lot of assets in banks, bad banks, that really haven't really come out. There's teams that are shrinking. There's a desire to clear some of these messes up. And both of the debt deals we've done have been really messy. They've averaged take 9 months to do, but they're well worth doing.
Okay, good. Annette?
Well, despite all the discussions we've had about B and C cities, we're still very much about the top 5 to 7 locations, looking at allocations on a very much global basis. So I would continue to invest also in the office sector in these sort of locations, especially like Berlin or Munich, taking advantage of the situations that you mentioned, forward funding, forward purchases. But to balance that, because that is a crisis segment right now, we would also continue to invest in developments, especially out of our own portfolio, to have an additional yield there and pick up the upside on that side. And then beyond that, it's about diversification, allocating a bit to residential, and actually share the view on logistics, where I especially believe that buying into the platform and developing that makes a lot of sense.
Great.
I'm a tactical investor, as I mentioned up front. 2 things. One is
saying.
well, that's a very good segment. Healthcare, real estate, I think sustainable, long-term, and still be able to pick up some very good yield. And secondly, for me, from an office, I have a tactical approach called walkability, when I am following the cultural and social changes of the tenant base and looking at specific place picking and place making in that sector.
Okay, Philip.
I'm going to be Annette's competition and do exactly the same, unfortunately, because I fully agree. I'd go.
Thank goodness there's Douglas in between.
I would go
so
full.
Things never change.
Yeah, no. I will go full speculative into Munich and Berlin office. The vacancy levels are unbelievably low. The dynamic, the demand is massive. But you can only do that if you're a German institutional player. You're all not allowed to do that. Because you don't understand the markets like we do. So Hungary is a blessing for a few. No, but I understand offices, and I've been doing this for 16 years. And I think the timing at the moment is just extremely ripe into these markets. If you can buy it, if the land value is at a value that diminishes the risk a little, I think you do a good job at the moment. And with a creative building, you can fetch some phenomenal rents and some long stability. The values there will maintain for quite a bit, I believe.
Okay, good. Felix?
I would come back to the concept of brain hubs. I would probably look at the top 10 European brain hubs. That would include Lisbon, for example, at the moment. And, I would sort of buy around there micro-living, but also co-working space.
You're supposed to invest into Germany.
Oh, okay, sorry. Top 10 German brain hubs.
Like Lisbon.
Excluding England. So, the top 10 German brain hubs.
Okay, good. We're going to move on to top 10 German holiday destinations. That'll be the...
Rodenburg up the tower.
Thomas?
Yeah, it's simple. I would focus more on the top 10 or top 7, except one or two things, which is in the former parts of East Germany, which is Erfurt, Leipzig, this chain. On that, Thuringia, the Bundesland. And from the product out of the office and retail thing, I would focus more on the car parking thing, which is it's a niche. If you're a yield hunter and you look on the refurbishment activities you have to do with these things and know the story on Q-Park, on Upcore and the hedge funds, I think things will get more transparent and you see more things of these, let's say, niche product will come into the market. And generally speaking, I would focus more on the top ones and not on the B and C locations due to the risk activity as a conservative investor, to be honest.
Thank you very much.